fans, welcome to another episode of the Quack Report. My name's Carter. I'm joined by Nate, and we're going to talk a little bit of Ducks hockey. Just a smidge, because it's the bye week, so there isn't really anything to talk about. Which, on the bright side, this is going to be the most positive episode all season, because we have absolutely nothing bad to say about the Ducks this time.
Not right now. Okay, so sorry, not to interrupt. Can you turn your input up a little bit? I think that's what it might be, actually. Just from off-air talk, playing the intro. You're a little quiet as we wait for Carter to figure his shit out.
How's that?
Try again.
Hello. Hey.
Oh, yeah, that's way better. Yeah,
okay, cool.
Maybe even just like a slight bit more. I don't know. Where do you normally have it?
I haven't touched it, so I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, turn your headphones up, maybe. I don't know.
I have them where they normally are too. I got them actually like higher than that.
I got them higher than that. Into your ear holes, inject it in your veins.
Oh,
yeah. Threw off my rhythm. Thanks. Now we just got to start.
Sorry, man. I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. Do you want me to replay it?
No, that's all good. Let's roll with it. We'll go. Yeah, we got a little bit of Duck stuff to talk about. We'll talk the All-Star game a little bit. Gulls update because they're still playing. We promised that we would talk about the new Fall Out Boy music.
Yes, I'm so excited for
it. Report Unplugged segment in there. Get that going. It's been
I don't know if I should be
done that. So
yeah, I don't know if I should be proud about this or not. I put more time into like my notes for Fall Out Boy discussion tonight than I have for the test that I have to write tomorrow.
Some things are just more important than others, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Human resource management is important, but Fall Out Boy is important to her.
I was gonna be like, okay, like what actually is it though? Because like it might be important for like your future career, but human resource management, like for you, like I'm not saying that's not important in general. I don't want to offend the human resource, the HR people that are out there because that's the last people you want to offend. But for you, like, fuck, who cares?
Yeah, as long as they're on my side, that's more what I care about.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I will do some studying after we're done as well as before I write the test tomorrow. But in case my parents are listening, I know I'm 26 and I'm in my 8th year of university still, but like just in case, just know that I am trying.
no, just break out the jean jacket and the black pants and put Fall Out Boy on and just lay on your bed and like scream.
You just described my outfit every other day except today.
Yeah, I know.
You realize that, right? Like,
yeah.
I got to do like I guess what Patrick Stump wears, like the dad hat or the fedora, depending on what era you're looking at as well.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do the fedora. I can maybe do the dad hat.
Only certain people can do it. So
yeah.
Oh fuck! You know what I didn't do? I have a Fall Out Boy poster literally like on the other side of the camera.
Oh, and you're gonna put it behind you.
I should have. I really should have. Yeah. Honestly, I feel like I did that when we talked about Fall Out Boy previously because we did like a top 5 or something, or like ranked the albums. I don't remember what we did for that one, but
yeah,
I'm pretty sure I moved
either.
The poster over here, and it probably fell off the wall at some point too because
actually yeah. No, now that you say it fell off, yeah, I think you did do that actually.
So, yeah, it's coming back to me now, but yeah, it's right over there. So
nice. Okay, so I'm going to start off the show. Okay. I told you I'm already changing up the outline a little bit. I'm injecting something else here just because as we're doing this, I do have the Calgary Hitmen versus the Regina Pats game on. They're showing it on TSN, national broadcast for a major junior game. But it's Connor Bedard, right? Mm-hmm. So, of course I want to take a look at the future Anaheim Duck star. I want to read you guys some numbers quick here that are just ridiculous. So the Regina Pats, the team that Connor Bedard is on, is currently on a road trip of Western Canada. And Kami Kepek, or Kep, I hope I'm saying that right, from Global News in Calgary. She was saying that she on Twitter there, she crunched some numbers on Alberta WHL attendance to see what crowds are like at a typical game this season versus when Connor Bedard is visiting. I expected a major bump on the Pats' first post-World Juniors road trip, but I didn't think it would be this significant. So we'll start with the game that's going on right now against the Calgary Hitmen. So the Hitmen play at the Scotiabank Saddledome, the same building as the Calgary Flames. The average attendance for a Hitmen game is 3,512.
Which is about It's probably like most of the lower bowl, I would say.
Yeah, it's a good chunk of the lower bowl. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, they usually only open the lower bowl for that and Wranglers games as well, the AHL team.
Yeah.
They had to open the second bowl as well as press level seating.
Oh,
They
shit.
sold out tonight's game.
Are you serious?
They sold out the entire
Damn.
Saddle Dome. The Calgary Flames have only done that 3 or 4 times this season.
Oh god. So you guys should be tanking for Bedard, hey?
Yeah, exactly. Apparently, in Edmonton, where the Oil Kings play at the Oilers Arena of Rogers Place, average attendance there is 5,184. And on December 4th, when they had played in Edmonton, it was 8,264. But again, that was before the World Juniors, so just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
The Pats will then be in Red Deer to play the Rebels. Average attendance there is about 3,800. And when the Pats came through, they had 7,300 people in attendance, which is a franchise regular season record now.
Damn.
Going to our hometown of Medicine Hat, the average attendance there is about 2,200 for a game. And it's poised currently for the highest attended game of the season on February 22nd, capacity of 7,000.
Wow.
So they're just, it's not sure where exactly, but that's where they're headed for. And then where we are right now in Lethbridge with the Hurricanes, their average attendance is a little under 3,200. And currently they are selling overflow tickets only for Friday's game. The arena capacity is 5,900.
I checked actually just before we started recording, and they're sold, like they're not selling overflow tickets anymore because probably fire code, and they're like, no, we literally can't let any more people.
Yeah, they probably hit that like the building capacity, not seating capacity, building capacity.
Yeah. So we might be getting those resale tickets if we really want to go.
Yeah, that is absolutely ridiculous.
Not the $350 ones. Fuck that guy.
No, screw that.
Yeah.
$350 for 4 tickets for Major Junior? No.
And if you want the pair, it's $200.
Yeah, like even
no.
I'm sorry. Even for Connor Bedard, that is a little ridiculous.
That's
that makes sense for an NHL game.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And that's a deal for an NHL game. 2 like lower bowl tickets for $200. That's pretty damn good, actually.
Yeah.
Depending on where you are, I guess, but
that. Yeah. Like
not
where we are, you literally never see that. But like, I don't know, down in the States you might. So
just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
So
it's pretty cool. So. Also, hello Curtis. I see you popped in the chat here. Welcome.
What's going on? Oh, all right.
So yeah. I guess let's get into some Ducks
stuff. The only Duck stuff?
Literally the only small little Ducks thing, which do we play the music for it?
Yeah, I guess it's still like news and that kind of stuff, right?
Okay.
So
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So on our last episode, we talked for a good chunk of it about the whole Zegras Stetcher stuff that was going on and what potentially was or wasn't said that just caused Stetcher to go into a fit of rage, essentially. And there was obviously lots of speculation on Twitter about it, and we just kind of, we're like, well, we're not totally sure what exactly was said. No one's come out and said anything.
Yeah, everyone suddenly became a professional lip reader. I didn't realize that's what the majority of hockey fans decided to do with their time during the pandemic.
Yeah.
learn how to read lips professionally.
Yeah. So yeah, we talked about that, and then pretty much right as soon as we were done recording, or like within the hour that we were done recording, there's someone that was, I guess, who was it here? Craig Morgan of Phoenix Sports and the NHL Network did a little digging and cleared up what was said. So kind of, or at least what wasn't said. We'll say that.
Yeah, so Morgan had tweeted, I can confirm via the Coyotes that Anaheim forward Trevor Zegras did not say anything about Troy Stetcher's father during their dust-up last night, but per a team source, he crossed the line with, quote, some very inappropriate comments. Stetcher has declined comment on the topic. So,
Yeah.
Which was then also followed a couple days later by Andy Strickland of Bally Sports West and 590 The Fan in St. Louis, where he said, like, can confirm a previous report that Anaheim's Trevor Zegras did not make any comments to Coyotes D-man Troy Stetcher about his late father. Pretty strong accusation to make about someone, especially when it isn't true. My favorite part, I think, about all of this is not the fact that so many people were just ready to jump down his throat, right? Like we talked about, okay, if that is what was said kind of here in this, right?
Yeah.
So many people are just willing to just jump straight down and just go after Zegras and his character and whatnot. And then when it's shown that, hey, we talked to somebody in regards to this who, you know, is in talks with Stetcher as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that thing that everybody's saying was said was not what was said. Okay, so here it is from a source. That's not what was said. And it's suddenly because like there's no big conspiracy, everybody, as I do the Donald Trump hands.
Yeah.
It's not a conspiracy. That like I was seeing different things of like, oh yeah, they're like, you know, the NHL told Stetcher just to drop it because, you know, of like revenue sharing. And I was like, you know, the Ducks don't make a whole lot of money either, right? Like they
Yeah, like
favor pretty heavily out of that too.
yeah, like
It's
they're
like,
one of
well,
the
it's not as
least
much as the
revenue
Coyotes
generating teams
and I'm
in the
just like,
league.
okay, but like let's think about this here for a second. All right, we've had like, in the last 3 games, especially between the Arizona Coyotes and the Anaheim Ducks, there's been a lot of bad blood, right? Which is part of the reason I was saying on the last episode, I'm so excited for these two teams to actually get good and meet each other in the playoffs because these are going to be fantastic games to watch.
Or at least just play meaningful games.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, just anything.
Exactly. And so, like, these two teams do not like each other, right? And even go back to that very first one with the Troy Terry and Jay Beagle thing and the whole skilling it up that, you know, gave us t-shirts to put in our merch store, which you can go check that out, by the way, at tqrshop.myspreadshop.com. Shameless plug there. We saw interviews after the fact, right? That, you know, even included Zegras of just like, yeah, you like these guys aren't what's the term? They're not sugarcoating it, right?
Yeah.
They're showing how they feel about each other, like as teams, right? Let alone individuals.
Mm-hmm.
I highly doubt that if even just like without the whole context of the NHL, if Stetcher, if that was said about Stetcher's father, which again, it was not, it has been clarified that it was not that, right? But if that was the case, I highly doubt Stetcher's going to go, yeah, no, tell them that that's not what it was.
Yeah, he's like just
he's
like,
going to be like, yeah, no,
sweep it under
fuck
the rug
that
for the
guy and
betterment
what
of
he
the
said.
league. Yeah, like
Yeah, exactly.
He literally has no reason to. There's zero benefit.
Yeah, and everyone's going like, oh, like and the other one is like, oh, the NHL wants to make sure that like the image of their golden boy is all good. I'm like, you want to know how many people are lined up in front of Trevor Zegras in the NHL's eyes for marketing, whether it's, you know, the typical NHL marketing of their players, which isn't great, or otherwise, that like is in front of Trevor Zegras, Austin Matthews, Connor McDavid, like just to name off like
Sidney
a couple
Crosby,
there. Sidney Crosby, Alex Ovechkin. Oh,
is that me?
yeah, that was you.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty. Anyway,
I don't know.
But yeah, so like there's 4 guys right there, and then Trevor Zegras, right? Like he's not at the front of the list for any of this.
Yeah.
Right? Like I don't know. Everyone's just it's a lot of people just not wanting to admit that they're wrong about lip reading.
Or it's people that like literally have nothing else better to do.
Honestly.
Like, honestly. Like, seriously, just go outside for like 2 minutes just to like feel the sun. Obviously, it's been way too long. Hold on. Give me a sec, dude.
Okay.
Carry the conversation for a sec.
Yeah, sure. Sounds good. There's actually a
N64 blow it out technique here.
Yeah, perfect. Blow on it, shove it back in, right? As Carter's doing that here, I'm trying to find this tweet from from Sweet Annie OD. It might be way too far back to find it now, but there was. Oh no, actually, sure enough, I just scrolled fast enough about it.
Nice.
Yeah, now people are out here saying the Coyotes are covering up for Zegras. Touch grass, I beg of you.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, I had seen that one. Yeah, that's fucking awesome.
Like
Go
just
touch grass,
yeah,
please.
and he just summed it up right there. Like, what reason do the Arizona Coyotes have for covering this up? Right?
Literally none.
Like I said, like I had somebody go like, "Oh, revenue sharing." Well, yeah, the Ducks are like third in line for that.
Yeah.
What else do you got? Oh, they want to protect the image of the Golden Boy. There's other people that they would rather market, as evident from the NHL All-Star game.
Yeah.
What else do you got? Oh, well,
Honestly,
that's for sure. Someone even said, like, on Craig Morgan's thing, it's like, look at it again. That's exactly what he said. Oh, yeah, here it is. Yeah, he was clearly saying, your dad's up there watching. And everyone's just like, you realize what you just commented on, right?
Yeah.
Was the report saying, no, that's not what he said.
Yeah, like it's I don't know. Whatever. It's
Please touch grass if you are one of those people who still thinks that. Now, in terms of the it was some very inappropriate comments. That falls in line, and I don't feel like I really need to reiterate it to the extent that I had on Sunday's episode. But I did talk about how Trevor Zegras, yes, does need to mature. Right?
Oh, for
so
sure. Yeah, that's
and unless we, unless Stetcher or the NHL comes out with what exactly was said, the story's done. Yeah. Quit trying to force a narrative that there's no evidence there for.
They're
Please,
not
everybody.
Like, why? Like, there's no, like they're definitely not going to do it. For anyone that's sitting around being like, you need to tell us what happened, right? Like what was said right now. It's like they're literally never going to do that. If your sweet baby virgin ears had ever heard a single like chirp from an NHL, or like probably half the chirps from an NHL bench, you would be unbelievably offended. Like there is like some of the shit that those guys say is like just miles inappropriate. And I'm not saying it's right, but like,
yeah,
because it's probably not, but it's just like, yeah, you don't want to know what was said.
I'm gonna clarify that for a second, because I feel like somebody might take it wrong, but I know this isn't the way you're meaning. The comments of NHL players, or like the chirps between NHL players that would offend you, that aren't racist, misogynistic, or that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's 100% true. A lot of the clips that you see out there that are like the uncensored of what NHL players are saying to each other, a lot of that is out there for a reason, because that's the stuff that's deemed okay.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah,
so
like when say like guys
like that's the tame stuff relatively.
Yeah, when the NHL posts a video on YouTube of like Drew Doughty mic'd up versus the San Jose Sharks, there's a reason the video is only like 45 seconds to a minute long. It's exactly, that's literally all they can take.
I can actually give you, if you want to go with Drew Doughty and the LA Kings verse or whatever, and mic'd up against the Calgary Flames. I forget what year and who he was saying to.
Probably Kachuk, because I know they had a pretty good beef.
No, I think this was before Kachuk was around even. But it's one of my favorite things that I've ever seen Drew Doughty say. I'll fucking fuck you up, bud.
Yeah.
Like that's the tame stuff.
that is literally the tip of the iceberg. So yes, thank you for clarifying that. Like there has been instances where like
and that's the stuff that's dealt with.
Or even not. Like even if just a referee has like heard someone say, racist or other homophobic like slurs or like anything.
Yeah, like they deal with it.
And they deal with it. Like, even if it's not like somebody picked it up on social media, if it's like sometimes it just happens. It's like this person has been fined for comments made during the game. People are like, what the fuck did they say? And like somebody who was like at the game sitting behind the bench is like, I heard this word get yelled. And I was like, what was that? So like,
yeah, exactly. And even then you might not have even heard it correctly. Right. So
yeah, exactly. And it's who knows if that person was even at the game, because like, they just have like no profile picture and their name is like John on Twitter. It's like there's literally no proof that like
exactly.
And just said that for attention. So.
Yeah, and you look at their profile, they have one follower and they joined well, today's February 1st as we're doing this, and they joined February 2023.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Right. So like it's you really don't no. But so the NHL
Yeah,
does crack down on like the stuff that has absolutely no place in the world at all. But that doesn't mean that offensive things aren't still said.
exactly. Don't get me wrong. There are some things within the NHL and how it organizes things that I think that they definitely have their fingers into in one way or another, swaying it. If you want to go with the draft, go with the draft. Um, but whether it's, like all-star voting, right? Like the
Mhm.
fan vote, that could have just been whatever. Like, I'm not saying that the fans
There's
didn't,
literally no proof. Yeah.
but that's something I kind of question, right?
Mhm.
Considering how one of the last times that the NHL had a fan vote, how that went over, and then they put rules in place of, hey, we're not going to have a John Scott situation again. Which I watched a video on that the other day, actually, and like all the behind the scenes stuff that went on with that, and it was fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't think covering up a player's comments are something that the NHL is getting their hands into for the Arizona
Yeah.
Coyotes and the Anaheim Ducks. So,
Yeah. Probably not. Anyways, we'll take the tinfoil hats off, I think, for now, and let the lizard people that oversee the show, crawl back to the sewers for the evening while we wrap up here.
oh, exactly.
You'd mentioned the All Star game already. That is happening just in a few days here over the weekend. Friday, Saturday is when the festivities take place down in Florida.
Yeah.
Um, Recently, as well, not that this relates to the Anaheim Ducks, but it does kind of affect the All Star game and the Pacific Division. Bo Horvat was traded from Vancouver to the New York Islanders. This was on Monday. Bo Horvat obviously named to the Pacific Division All Star team as the Vancouver rep. I believe, yeah, the only Vancouver rep. And
The only one
people.
I thought Pedersen was going, or do I have that mixed
Oh,
up?
was he the other one? Oh,
I could be wrong. I'm taking a look right now.
because they named one
Oh
for each
yeah,
team, and then
yeah, Pedersen's going as well. I think Horvat got in on the fan vote, if I'm not mistaken.
yes, you're right. Yeah, that's how it
Yeah.
worked. Yeah. For some reason, I thought L.A. had two people going.
No,
They just
LA
have Fiala.
only. Yeah, it just has Kevin Fiala going.
Oh, okay.
Right, because the fan vote got in Horvat and then Draisaitl and Skinner from the Oilers.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So yeah, Horvat was supposed to go play for Team Pacific. He got traded. No one's really sure what's going to happen there. But it sounds like this is from Greg Wyshynski of ESPN, who's a pretty reliable source, says that Horvat will still play for the Pacific Division, but will represent the New York Islanders. So like during the skills competition, we'll probably wear an Islanders. Well, not probably. He will wear an Islanders jersey. And then I guess probably the patch on the jersey will be an Islanders one.
Yeah. So it's going to be a really interesting jersey because I guess I should have grabbed a picture of the All Star jerseys, but if you haven't seen them, they're beautiful for one. But the crests are Eastern and Western Conference for the first time since I saw the year earlier. It's been a while. I
Yeah,
can just say
sure.
that. But so it's going to be yeah, Horvat's going to be wearing a Western Conference jersey that has a New York Islanders patch on the shoulder.
It's gonna be one of a kind for sure. Yeah.
It definitely will be. It's
I mean,
given any other circumstance, that's I'm returning this jersey to whatever store because they put the wrong thing on here.
Yeah.
Or they gave me the wrong jersey and put the right
Yeah.
stuff on there or whatever. So
If anyone ordered a Horvat Western Conference jersey, then they should be sending it back and saying no, it's the wrong one.
no, if they ordered a Western Conference jersey, that is correct. But with a Vancouver patch on the shoulder, that's incorrect now.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, I mean, they could still.
And I guess the number is different too. I would assume that he would have worn 53 at the All-Star game, but he is now number 14, if I remember off the top of my head.
Oh, really?
With the Islanders.
Does
So
have 53 in.
No, it's I think it's a Lou Lamoriello rule that he doesn't like anybody wearing anything higher than 40. I think he's only ever had 2 exceptions in his time as a GM.
There's nobody there that's worn higher than 40?
Not with Lou Lamoriello there, I don't
Like
think.
yeah, I mean like currently there's nobody higher than 40. I've literally never noticed that.
Let me pull it up here. We'll take a look. Um, yeah, that was the thing that I'd see. It was like that Lamoriello doesn't like high numbers, so he caps it at 40. If you get something higher, it's because you're a rookie,
Huh.
and then your actual number is lower when you are on the team.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, let's take
Yeah,
a
there's
look
so many of
here.
those stupid rules that like I I don't get why someone doesn't just tell Lou to kick rocks. Like if I was Bo Horvat and I was like, no, I'm wearing 53, like what's Lou Lamoriello gonna do? Be like, oh, okay, then you're not playing because
Yeah,
like we
right.
literally just traded 3 top assets for you and now we're just gonna like not play you because I'm forcing you to wear 53. Like what blackmail does he have on Bo Horvat already that he's like, no, like you're wearing something lower than 40 or I'm releasing this naked picture of you online. Like what is it? I don't get it. Like
Okay, I'm trying to find where this is now because I realized looking at the roster, the 2 players above 40, that part of it was correct, but it's not during Lou's entire time as a GM.
mhm.
It's on this roster. Um, where is it here? Um, oh, but yeah, so it's oh yeah, okay, here we go. Yeah, from Gord Miller. That's who it was.
Mhm.
So yeah, among the many Lou's rules from Lou Lamoriello, although this one has some wiggle room, he doesn't like numbers higher than 40. 2 exceptions are currently on the roster. Casey Cizikas,
Mhm.
number 53, predates Lamoriello with the Islanders, and
Okay.
Jean-Gabriel Pageau, number 44, was allowed to keep his number from Ottawa. If you look at the roster otherwise, the highest number is goaltender Semyon Varlamov at number
Mhm.
40. That
Okay.
is it.
Hmm.
That is the highest number.
So I guess those make sense because if I guess if like Horvat was any other number that wasn't 53 but was higher than 40, he would probably be allowed to keep it because they let Pajot keep his 44, I guess. So I guess like it only applies to new players in the league, I suppose.
Yeah, and I feel like there's a reason that Pageau wears like 44 specifically, besides like it's like a favorite number or one that I grew up wearing
Yeah.
kind of thing. Like I think there's a story behind it.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, so
But yeah, he would
um,
have had to change anyways, I guess, if Cizikas had 53.
yeah,
So
exactly. So if you happen to have ordered a Western Conference Bo Horvat Vancouver Canucks All-Star jersey with number 53 on it, you might want to go see if you can get that fixed. Otherwise, you have a bit of a gem there because it will
that's
never be worn. So
yeah. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I kind of like jerseys that like are those ones that like are never worn, but like you could if you were like ballsy enough to buy them like right away, then it kind of pays off. Because
yeah,
like say like the Sabres McDavid jerseys where people are like, oh, he's coming here, and they get the jersey, and then there's only like probably really only a few of them in existence because people are nuts, um,
yeah.
or only like a few people are that nuts.
Or
But
more recently, the Montreal Canadiens Shane Wright jerseys.
yeah, and I'm sure there'll be Bedard like Coyotes ones and Bedard Columbus and
I
Ducks
got
ones.
my
Like,
Anaheim one being made right now.
yeah, but that's a safe bet though. uh,
I
um,
don't know, man. If we're talking NHL controversy from earlier, if you want to go back to the 2005 draft when Anaheim got screwed out of the number 1 pick for Sidney Crosby and only got Bobby fucking Ryan at number 2.
yeah.
Oh, man.
I guess technically though, just going back to the jersey thing at the All Star game, Horvat could wear an Eastern Conference jersey playing on Team Pacific because there's like they're only selling one of them as home and one of them as away, and I don't remember. I guess is it the home, like the Eastern ones that
East
are home
East is the
because
black. Yeah.
yeah, because Florida's in the East, makes
Yeah.
sense. But obviously they're gonna have to have black and white ones for um each conference because the first 2 matchups of the day are West versus West and East versus East.
Yeah.
So there
Which
is
is
going to be
why I
more
wish
scope.
they would have sold both, because I personally
Yeah,
like the black one
yeah,
a
exactly.
lot.
Me too. I don't want to buy the away Western Conference
Yeah.
one, but oh well.
So, I mean, like, I've always gone for the darker jerseys. Not saying that I wouldn't get the white one. I'm just terrified when I'm wearing a white jersey personally that like I'm
Yeah.
gonna like make a mess on it or something like that. Like,
Get
I'm not a
nacho,
messy
get
person,
nacho
but
cheese all
but
over
yeah,
it. But yeah.
exactly. Like, you're gonna have it's gonna be like some kind of accident or something like that. And
Mhm.
um
Yeah, I tend to
but
slop beer on myself when I go to hockey games. So wearing a
that
white
is
one's
true.
not a great
That
idea.
is I've been to enough hockey games with you to know that.
It literally always happens too. I don't get it. I mean, I do kind of get it, but like, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess technically, at least where we get our jerseys, yeah, I guess we can plug them. They're cool. No pun intended. Cool hockey. Like they're all well. Oh no, I guess not. I was like, oh, you could just like get the name on like the like if you wanted to get say who's it Kadri for the Flames,
Yeah.
or we'll say Terry. If you wanted to get a Troy Terry reverse retro, I was like, oh, you could just get it on the dark reverse retro, but then just like do a custom name and put in Terry 19 and then just ask him to put the Ducks patch on. But then I was like, oh wait, it's still gonna say Eastern Conference.
Yeah, exactly. So you'd have to do like a whole like surgery thing on it, take off the Eastern Conference packet or patch,
yeah,
crest, not patch. Yeah, get somebody to put it on there, unless you can do it yourself professionally and
yeah,
whatever. Yeah, it's just it would be a lot of work, but
yeah, exactly. So, but I mean, yeah, technically it could work. So, yeah, and then you had another thing that you were curious about for the All Star game, and then you can.
yeah. So specifically within Greg Wyshynski's tweet here, he says Bo Horvat will remain on the Pacific Division All Star team, but will wear a Islanders reverse retro jersey during skills. That's the part that caught my attention as a jersey nut. Islanders reverse retro jersey during skills. So the All-Star jerseys themselves are a reverse retro off of the All-Star jerseys worn between, I believe it's 94 to 97. I'm double checking that right now as we speak. Oh, look at me go, 94 to 97. Nice. See, this is the knowledge that I retain, not the stuff that I need for my test tomorrow.
So I see Andrew's in the chat saying, yo, I'm here. Hey.
What's going on, Andrew? So yeah, the All-Star jerseys themselves are reverse retros, and it kind of had me like with that tweet from Wyshynski, is that just kind of like a mess up in what he's saying, or are all the representatives for the skills competition also wearing the reverse retro jerseys?
I would be surprised.
Are we going to get to see them all on the ice except for Seattle, I guess?
Why not Seattle? Oh,
because Matty Beniers got hurt, and so they're sending who is it from Vegas? Chandler Stevenson. They're sending Chandler Stevenson from Vegas to take Matty Beniers' spot. So the Seattle Kraken are the only team to not be represented at the All-Star game coming up this year.
That's dumb. They did that with the Ducks a few years ago too, because they were going to send I think it was Silfverberg like a few years back, and then he got hurt, and then they just picked someone else, and it was like you couldn't pick someone else from the Ducks like Raquel or Fowler. Like they weren't having as great of seasons as Silfverberg or any of the other guys, sure, but like it's literally the only team not represented. Like how do you do that?
So there was a little bit that came. I forget who had the tweet. Otherwise, I'd find it. But there was a thing put out as to why there wasn't a Kraken filling in for the Kraken spot for Matty Beniers. All of the Kraken had left on Saturday after they played their last game. They went from whatever game that they were doing onto different flights, whatever, for vacations. Like they all left directly after the game.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And none of them wanted to interrupt their holiday for the All-Star game.
Fair enough.
I get it, but at the same time, it kind of raises the question of, okay, this is the NHL All-Star game, right? This used to be like, this was like an honor to be a part of. But has it become that much of a sham or that players are just like, no, I will skip the All-Star game. I'm given a chance and I'm going to say no.
Yeah.
Like Alex Ovechkin was an exception, I would say, right? Because that's a guy who was like, no, I would rather take the break to go and get a Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Once Ovechkin got his Stanley Cup, he's been coming to the All-Star game now,
Yeah.
right? But for everybody else, it's especially like even younger guys or whatever, right? Like, I don't know. It kind of just like what like it kind of raises the question of what do the players think about the All-Star game?
Yeah. I mean, it's like they probably had like a bar to be set. Like they weren't going to ask like the 12th forward on the depth chart, like, oh, hey, we called everybody else ahead of you. We called all other 11 forwards and the 6 defensemen and even the goalies and asked if they just wanted to play out. And they all said no. So like, will you please come to the All-Star game? Whoever their 12th forward is, like, they're not, I don't think they're going to do that. They probably called like the top 6. So like Eberle, Gord, Schwartz.
Here, I have it here if you want. So Matty Beniers is third on the team in points. So if we're judging All-Stars based on points, in front of Beniers, there's Andre Burakovsky and Jordan Eberle.
Okay. Yeah, and they might have just said no, which is fair.
And then you have Vince Dunn, Jared McCann, and Yenny Gord. Tell me all of those guys were like, no, screw the All-Star game. I want to go on my vacation. Like, I'm not
potentially.
Oh no, they did.
Oh, well,
because otherwise someone from Seattle would be going. But it's just like, man, you're telling me that those guys all said no? Well, that like, I would rather go lay on a beach than go be named an NHL All-Star, which is or was, I guess, a very high honor at one point.
Let's put it this way.
Like I was gonna say, like the NHL All-Star game has changed a lot since we were kids, even, right?
Yeah.
And like it is one criticism that I have as well. I'm not overly a fan. I understand like the whole representation aspect of it, right? Of having one from every team. But if you're going to have that be in place, you better make sure that you can get one guy at least from every team.
Yeah. Like
otherwise get rid of the rule.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You either do it or you don't. I think so. And if like, so they're going to be like, oh, we're going to name someone from every team unless they get hurt. And then we're going to say, fuck it. Then it's like, okay, then what's the point? Like, just say fuck it to begin with, and just say, you know what? Let's look at the standings. These are the best, however many players, and the top, I guess, 8 goalies or 6 goalies, whatever. And like, that's what we're gonna do. Like, that's who we're gonna send. Like, then sure, do that. But like,
yeah, exactly. Like,
just pick one. You know?
Yeah. And now, you or somebody else might question if I'm okay right now after I say this. Troy Terry at, what is he, 39, 40, or I think 42 points, if I remember offhand, actually.
Now, I think.
42. Yeah. Does he deserve to go more than Zach Hyman, who's got 60 points on the season in 49 games for the Edmonton Oilers?
Yeah, like.
Right?
Probably not. Yeah, like. Yeah. No, like, I see your point. Like, is Troy Terry good? Yes.
Troy Terry is very good.
But like, is he deserving of going to an All-Star game over? Take your pick. There's probably one from the other 7 teams in the division that you could say are, or make the argument at least, that are more deserving than Troy Terry. So
yeah,
like, yes, it's great that he's an All-Star, and yes, he probably deserves, and yes, like, we're happy that he's going there, and he is without a doubt the best player on the team this season.
But he's going because the NHL has the representation rule.
Yeah, exactly.
So without it, he wouldn't be going.
Yeah. The other point I was going to make as well was, let's paint the picture a little bit here. Well, just a small picture.
All right.
Let's do a little sketch here. So you are going on a vacation to Mexico, and you're leaving on Saturday.
Fuck yeah, let's go.
Yeah. And
I'm ready. See you later.
Yeah. And you fly out, and you land, and you check into the hotel, and one of the, what are they called? Bellhops or whatever. There's like,
sure,
let me take your bags, sir. And they They take your bags, put them on a cart, hand you a pina colada, and say, your bags will be up in the room. Go have fun.
Yeah.
And so you go, you lay on the beach, and you're like, this is nice. And then you put your feet up, and you're like, I'm going to take a picture of this sweet moment. And you pull out your phone to take a picture of your feet with your pina colada, just like everybody does when they go to Mexico, just to post on Instagram. And before you can hit the snap button, you're getting a call from Gary Bettman himself. And you're like, I better answer this.
Oh, hey, there's the ocean if it's Bettman.
or somebody from the NHL.
Yeah.
Bettman's the only one I care enough to know his name because he sucks. As everyone else. Bill Daly. We'll say Bill Daly. Realistically, he was probably making the calls and people like him. So you pick up the phone and they're like, hey, we know you're on vacation probably, but like, you wanna come play some more hockey? Are you like you've got the pina colada in hand? You got to go track down the bellhop and say, hey, never mind, bring my bags back. I got to catch a flight. Do you really want to do that to go play like at like 20 minutes, maybe 40 if you're lucky of hockey, and then just like the day before that, you got to pass a puck into a little net or like break some styrofoam target? Like, does that really sound appealing when you're on a beach and the waves are coming at you and you got a pina colada in your hand?
Let's remember the location here of this year's All-Star game, though. Hey, I'm going to go from one beach and pina coladas to another beach where I'm going to have adoring fans.
Yeah, but you're not going to.
And then be able to go to the beach after I'm done my little showcase for the night because I'm in fucking Sunrise, Florida.
Yeah, but you already paid.
It's in Florida.
You already paid to be in Mexico, and then also everybody.
You're a fucking millionaire.
Everybody who cares about the NHL is going to be in Florida, so it's not going to be a relaxing vacation. You're going to set up your umbrella and your like little beach chair.
Dude, it's Florida. It's the small amount of worth of the population that's going to be in Sunrise. This isn't supposed to be a slight on Florida or anything like that, but this is just how a lot of American markets are in general, just like from the eyes of NHL players, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're in Sunrise, Florida. There's going to be a chunk of the population, especially that's there, that's gone down to that spot that might recognize you, right? Yeah. The vast majority, otherwise, you're just another person.
No, but I'm thinking like Timmy and his dad from Toronto just, loves. Well, actually, Toronto's a bad example. Timmy and his dad from Vancouver. They hate the Canucks because of all the shit that's gone on recently. Timmy is a die-hard Seattle Kraken fan because he likes squid or something, maybe. I don't know.
He likes squid.
Yeah. And let's say Jordan Eberle is going. And Jordan Eberle's his favorite player because, they're both right-handed shots, both Jordan and little Timmy here. And Timmy likes to score goals just like Jordan Eberle does. And all he can talk about is Jordan Eberle, and he loves watching the highlights. And so Jordan Eberle, who was on the Vancouver beach, or not the Vancouver beach, sorry.
A little bit of a difference there. Yeah, I'm sure Dylan could tell us that.
Yeah, the Mexico beach uproots his entire family's vacation so that he can go and sit on a Florida beach or play some hockey. And then he's like, okay, whatever. I'll just go it's Sunday. My legs are tired because I wasn't expecting to, skate on Saturday, so I didn't stretch beforehand. So you go to the beach on Sunday, and little Timmy and his dad come up, and they're like, "Hey, sorry, Jordan, big fans. Can we get a picture?" And you're not going to get that in Mexico, but you're going to get it in Florida because Timmy and his dad came all the way from Vancouver just to watch Jordan Eberle play at the All-Star game.
I don't know. You get hardcore enough hockey fans, they'll fucking find you anywhere.
Yeah, that's true. But
I found Cam Barker in Elkwater.
Fair. Well, that makes sense. That's like an hour from where he played junior. So 45 minutes.
In the mid 2000s.
Yeah. So
he's playing in Europe.
It's a nice place. Anyways.
I found Lanny McDonald at my great grandfather's funeral.
Wow. So my question, the long way of getting there, would you uproot your entire vacation, your nice Mexican beach vacation, to go and do work, the stuff that you do the rest of the year?
If I'm Keith Tkachuk in the early mid 2000s because the NHL All-Star game means something, yeah, sure. And I'm sure Brady and Matthew are going to love it. If I'm Jordan Eberle now, though, I don't think he has kids, but no, I don't need to. I don't need to. The All-Star game's just kind of, it's meh.
Yeah. I don't know.
I know I'm better than a lot of those guys.
Okay.
It's not an All-Star game anymore. It's the All-Star game in name.
Fair. Okay.
There's my rant on the All-Star game this year.
Yeah. Let's take a quick break before we transition into slightly more focused All-Star game talk. And then we will also tie it back to the San Diego Gulls after, and then we also have to talk about man, we've hit like barely anything on this episode. And
I was laughing. I was laughing when you texted me, yeah, we'll have a shorter episode. And I'm just like, no, we're not.
We have longer episodes when there's nothing to talk about. When we've got like games and news, we're like, boom, let's hit it all. Let's get it. Let's go.
Yeah.
And then when there's like less news, we're like, it should be a short episode. We got like 1 or 2 things, and we'll just like, bullshit a little bit. And then we've got like literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things in the outline, and we've hit 2 of them. And like we haven't even really talked about like what's been on our notes either. So
exactly. So to reiterate here, Nate spent the last 10 minutes. I spent the last 10 minutes shitting on the All-Star game, and then we're gonna take a break here in a second, and we're gonna come back to talking about the All-Star game that I'm probably gonna shit on more.
Probably, yeah.
But we're gonna tell you what's gonna happen at the All-Star game and talk about some of the things that we're actually excited for.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we'll be back in a couple of minutes here, and don't go anywhere. Don't go too far because it's live, so you can't just pause it. But yeah, we'll be back in a couple.
Yeah, Mom, remember I can't pause anything that's going live right now. This isn't TiVo. NBA fans, it's time to bring the hoops action to the palm of your hand with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. This week, new customers can bet $5 and win $200 in free bets instantly. Plus, for a limited time, all new and existing customers can get a no-sweat same-game parlay every day. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app today, opt in, and place a same-game parlay on any NBA game. And if it doesn't hit, you'll get a free bet back. So, what are you waiting for? Download the app now and sign up with the code THPN. New customers can bet $5 on the NBA and get $200 in free bets instantly. Again, that's code THPN, as in the Hockey Podcast Network, only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. Void in Ohio. See show notes for details. This time of year, everyone's talking about making big changes, which is all well and good, but most of the time, pretty unrealistic. You've probably found that the smallest changes to your routine can actually make the biggest impact. In the same way, you don't have to break the bank to make a big deal purchase. Even the smallest things can be part of a big change if it's something you use every day, just like Raycon earbuds. Raycon is premium audio at the perfect price point, so you can build great habits without breaking the bank. Whether you're looking for a pair of everyday earbuds, low latency gaming headphones, or a speaker with a battery that will last all night at your next party, Raycon's got you covered. And yep, Raycon start at half the price of other premium audio brands. That means you don't have to choose between products. You can get one of each, or a pair and a spare, and still pay less than you would with some of the other guys. Even if you know you'll love your Raycons, Raycon wants to make sure you feel great about your purchase. They offer buy now, pay later options, and every purchase has an easy and free return guarantee. Ready to buy something small with a big impact? Go to buyraycon.com/THPN today to get 15% off your Raycon order. Again, that's buyraycon.com/THPN to score 15% off. buyraycon.com/THPN.
Welcome back, everybody. We got Andrew saying he's watching the Hawks game, the NBA.
Nice.
So since I believe
Atlanta Hawks, I do know that. At least.
Nice. Yeah, I think the Blackhawks are on their bye week as well, or they just weren't playing tonight. Not totally sure.
Yeah, tonight's the last night of games before the All-Star break, and all the games are done now. 5-2 Bruins over the Maple Leafs and 5-1 Hurricanes over the Sabres.
Cool. He also says, what's happening to THBN these days, which is the basketball podcast network. The basketball. Yeah, obviously that's what it is. At Hoops Podnet on Twitter. Yeah, they're still going strong. They're still doing stuff. There's still basketball podcasts out and about that are somewhat affiliated with us. They're like our, younger cousin that we are forced to hang out with at family events, and it's generally a good time, but we don't see him very often.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just the kids' table, otherwise.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So not like forced to hang out with, but like we do. But it's like, I couldn't hang out with them for like, a couple weeks. Couldn't live in the same city as them.
Yeah.
But no, they're all great over there. Just joking. Just joking. And he's also asking where Neil is these days. Not totally sure. I mean, he's still out and about doing his podcast. And who's streaming next? Not. I'm assuming we're doing an All-Star game stream. Actually, I
wouldn't.
know we.
I'd be surprised if we weren't.
Yeah,
I just don't know who's doing it offhand.
Somebody in a group chat asked about a collab, and I think there was some interest in it. Let's pull up the watch along schedule here. We got.
See what we got.
Oh, come on, keep on scrolling. Yeah, I guess we're not in January anymore. February.
Nope.
Looks like so far just Lance, who I believe does one of the Blue Jackets.
Correct.
Podcasts. Is that right?
Yep. I'm just trying to remember which one, because I think we have
got a couple
3 on the network.
We have 3 now? Yeah, I guess.
I think it's 3 now. Yeah.
Let's see.
And we're still the one and only Anaheim Ducks show. Let's go.
Which I don't know if it's because people don't want to talk about the Ducks, or if it's just because like we just do such a good job that.
I'm gonna believe the latter.
Me too. Lance hosts the Brew Jackets podcast, like BREW.
Right.
So,
right.
Not to be confused with Brews and Bruins. They won't like that very much. But, yeah. So far, he's the only one signed up. I don't know if he just put his name down, and there's other people that are going to join him. But yeah, that's you can. He's doing both the skills comp and the All-Star game on the Friday, Saturday. So you can definitely check those out. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure I'll be in the chat at some point as well. So
yeah.
I know my girlfriend really likes watching the skills competition, so I know we're going to be watching that on Friday.
Yeah.
So, and then I'm going to try to watch as much of like the game as possible. So on Saturday there. So
yeah. Yeah. And then speaking of the All-Star game, just a little bit of news. If you're like totally not exactly sure what's going on with that, you just kind of know that it's happening. Skills competition is on the Friday, as we've said, February 3rd. It starts at 4 p.m. Pacific time. So if you're like super invested in that, then maybe take the last hour or 2 off work to beat that LA traffic, or wherever you are. Just beat the rush hour traffic home. Or, set the DVR, whatever the case might be there. And then the actual game itself is on the Saturday, and it's actually 3 20-minute games, so it's the length of a full game, but it's broken up into kind of a more tournament style. So just in case you're new to hockey and you haven't seen it before, Saturday, February 4th at 12 p.m. Pacific time, so a noon start if you're on the West Coast. Starting with the Central and Pacific divisions, they will face off in a 20-minute 3v3 game at noon. Metro versus Atlantic, so the 2 East divisions at 1 p.m. And then at 2 p.m., the winner of those 2 games, so one of the West divisions, the Central or the Pacific, and then one of the Metro and Atlantic, whoever wins, will play in kind of the ultimate game to determine the best division there. So,
yeah. Some other information I had. Where'd it go here?
Yeah, go for it.
For the skills competition here, so we can go into the actual skills themselves. So the accuracy shooting, the breakaway challenge, fastest skater, and hardest shots are returning for another year, which sweet. The save streak is not going to be here this time. However, they have a new competition called the Tendy Tandem.
Okay.
that features both goalies from each division. So in the Pacific's case, Logan Thompson of the Vegas Golden Knights and Stuart Skinner of the Edmonton Oilers. One goalie from each division will take shots at targets, and depending on the points earned, the other goalie will then face 1, 2, or 3 skaters in a shootout.
Okay.
That one actually has some
Interesting.
potential to be interesting.
Yeah, because I mean, before they did it as like a back and forth shootout, and it was like,
Yeah, like I say, like the save streak kind of thing. It's like, okay, it's great to see the goalies do cool stuff, right? And
yeah,
like see how many all-star players they can stop, right? But it's you also don't want someone to pull a groin at the all-star game. So like
yeah, it wasn't the most exciting
they're going
one,
like
and
80% kind of thing. So
yeah, and it was about like how many in a row, so it wasn't about like how many total saves either.
yeah,
So it was just like it was just designed very poorly. But this one I'm kind of interested in because it's showing off a couple different skills of the goalies. Like, can you like make a breakout pass? Essentially, is kind of the one.
yeah,
Like I'm assuming by accuracy shooting or like shooting at targets, it's not going to be like what the shooters do. It's more like similar to like the St. Louis Arch one from a few years back, where you're like, okay, can you like land it in a certain area on the
yeah.
ice, or like
So
you have a bigger target? That's kind of what I imagine. But
I did find a better description on the NHL website.
sure,
So yeah, 8 goalies will work in tandems, one shooting and the other in net. Central versus Pacific, Atlantic versus Metro.
okay,
So the shooting goalie from a division will take a shot from a designated mark, will be awarded 3 points if the shot goes in the hole, 2 if it hits the net if it hits the in net target, and 0 if it misses the net.
okay,
The in-net goalie will then face 1, 2, or 3 players depending on the points earned from the shooting goalie. Players start from center ice and must shoot on the rush. NHL shootout rules in general will apply, and play continues until all pucks have been shot and is repeated for the second goalie pairing, and the goalie tandem with the most points wins. So my understanding of it is, say, Stuart Skinner is shooting on the net,
yeah.
and however many points he gets is how many shooters Connor Hellebuck is going to have come down on him.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
So
So if he
that could
gets
be kind of interesting, actually.
okay, yeah. So if he gets it in whatever the hole is, I'm assuming it's going to be like where they cover up the whole
Yeah,
net and they have like the little puck size hole. It'll be like similar to that, but probably a little more attainable.
yeah,
So whereas if he gets that, then yeah, Hellebuck would face 3
yeah.
shooters, like not all at once, like it's shootout style. So it's like 1, 2, 3. Is that right? Or is it like it's a 3
I'm
on
kind of
0
wondering
if he
because
gets it in the hole?
I'm kind of wondering because it's players start from center ice and must shoot on the rush. So I'm kind of wondering if it is.
Oh, because
Oh
it
yeah,
did
will
say like
face 1, 2, or 3. So I'm kind of wondering. It sounds like it might be like, okay, is it a breakaway? Is it a 2-on-0 or is it a 3-on-0?
was there a way to get 1 point?
Uh, 1 point I'm assuming would be the 0 if it misses the net. You still have somebody come in
You
on
still have
you.
1 person, yeah.
Is my assumption here.
Okay. Yeah, it was weird because it said normal shootout rules apply, but I guess like you could still follow them where it's like the puck has to be in motion, like can't go
Yeah.
backwards.
You can't stop. I feel like you could probably pass backwards if you're doing 3 people. But
Yeah,
just the idea
probably,
that
but
like the
like
puck at least like must be going forward for the most part, I feel like, for this. So
yeah.
because it says like shootout rules in general. So
Mhm.
but I don't know. That one actually does kind of sound interesting at least.
Yeah. Andrew says that as well. He says
Yeah.
interesting, and makes sense even more now. But he's also taken off for the night, which we appreciate you coming to hang out,
Yeah.
Andrew. It's always a blast, and yeah, hope you have a good rest of your evening.
All right. What do we else
Yeah.
do we have for new competitions this year? The NHL pitch and puck will have players combine their hockey and golf skills on a par 4 golf hole featuring an island green. 6 players will participate, the winner being the one who successfully sinks the puck/ball in the hole with the fewest shots using a combination of hockey and golf shots. If there's a tie, the longest drive determines the winner.
I hope that someone just Happy Gilmore's off the team.
Right?
Like, I mean, really, you're asking.
I mean, that's a
for-
combination of a hockey and a golf shot. So
Yeah, like it's probably basically an unofficial requirement is that you just gotta like wind up and like do the Happy Gilmore slap shot drive off of the tee. Because like, if you're a player, you're not going to not do that. But
Yeah.
also, why would you combine a hockey and a golf event if that wasn't your expectation?
David Pasternak is the one who would take off his normal or reverse retro Boston Bruins jersey to unveil a mid 90s Happy Gilmore Boston Bruins jersey.
Oh, absolutely.
To do this 100%.
Yeah.
Pasternak with the Pit Vipers.
Yeah.
The sunglasses.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And somebody's gonna have a boombox playing Barbie Girl for him.
Yeah. This will be cool, I think. I did hear about this one on the 32 Thoughts podcast, and yeah, I think it'll be good.
Yeah. So. And the other new one,
the splash shot.
Yeah, will be on the beach at Fort Lauderdale and feature 8 players divided into 4 teams of 2. Players are required to hit all the targets before attempting to dunk their opponents. The winner being the one to dunk his or her opponent first. So from
dunk tank.
Yeah. Basically, okay, here's the accuracy shooting, but your final target is to hit a target that will send somebody for a plunge.
Okay. They're still doing like the traditional accuracy shooting now?
Yeah, they still are.
Okay, so I wonder if it's going to be more like the
fountain shootout thing they had last year.
Yeah, where it's you're like kind of sauce passing onto like the face off dot floaty pad type of things.
Yeah,
so it might be that kind of like hit those 4 targets and then just like take a slap shot at a dunk tank and send like whoever into the beach. I hope they have crocodiles too.
Not as in the events or in the dunk tank.
Yeah. In the dunk tank.
In the dunk tank.
Yeah. Test your swimming abilities as well. Once you get dunked, you got to escape with all of your limbs.
The commentators are just like, oh, there goes Linus Ullmark into the dunk tank. Let's see how Boston does without their goalie, as he just got ate by a crocodile.
Yeah. No flashy glove saves if you don't have any arms, Ullmark.
No hugging Swayman without your arms either after wins.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, I think those new events will be cool. I do like when they kind of tailor the skills events to be similar to like the or not like similar, but like fit the theme of the location that it's in. So like Vegas, it was like they had the blackjack one, and then in Florida they're on a beach and they have a golf one. Like are they going to be the best events? Probably not, because I don't think they really like play test these. They're just like, this is a cool idea, let's just do it and see what happens.
And that's where they need to play test these. Like out of like the city themed ones, I wasn't as much of a fan of the blackjack one last year, but the fountain one was a cool one.
Yeah, some of them are like not great and they just don't work, but
because the St. Louis Arch one, that was one that they really should have tested.
Because they get like because like they obviously can't get the NHL players to test them because they're busy. Like you have to come up with these like long before, so they probably just get like, I don't know, like Dave from accounting or like Brad from HR, and they're just like, hey, do you just want you play in like the rec hockey league, like the beer league on Sunday nights at 11 p.m. right? You just want to come out and like just like
test these out,
and then you know they get like, for the Arch one, they would like get it onto the ice. It's like, oh well, the NHL players will definitely be able to hit it. If you're
like, oh yeah, this is like, it's a challenge for you. It should be fine for the NHL guys, and the NHL guys can't do it. And you're just like, ah, shit.
Yeah, it's like at a certain point, like a puck can only fly so far. Like just gravity. Like it's just it's how it works. So.
Damn it! The thing that people remember the most about the St. Louis Arch shooting thing was Matthew Tkachuk taking off his Flames jersey to show a St. Louis Cardinals jersey underneath it. Yeah. Shit. We might have fucked this one up, guys. Skills competition looks like it's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. So, and then possibly my favorite part of or the part I'm looking forward to most of All Star Weekend, and the reason that I'm going to cancel all of my weekend plans is specifically for Fall Out Boy playing the second intermission of the All Star game.
Yes.
And it's, you know what? It's probably not going to be live. It's probably going to be lip synced, or like that's not what they call it when it's
Well, yeah, lip synced or
yeah. There's another word, but
yeah, not sure.
I
Yeah,
remember
I'm kind of wondering that. I mean, Fall Out Boy, and I say this in the best way possible. Fall Out Boy isn't Green Day because they did have Green Day on the ice for, I believe it was that St. Louis one actually, and they dropped a few F-bombs, I remember.
Yeah.
And the NHL went, "What are you doing?" And everybody else who just knows music in general went, "It's Green Day. What did you expect?" It's like the BBC when they asked Rage Against the Machine to not swear.
It's like, have you ever listened
and
to
when they were playing
songs?
"Killing
Like,
in the Name
possible.
of," and it's like, and then they went ahead because what machine do you think they're raging against? Come on.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think
if you don't understand that reference, please search up Rage Against the Machine on BBC. It's hilarious.
Yeah. What was I gonna say?
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's all good. Yeah, I'm excited for Fall Out Boy because at least I know for a fact there's gonna be no way that it's gonna be worse than the Black Keys at the Winter Classic, like last month.
Oh yeah, that was a little rough.
Yeah, it was,
and nothing against the Black Keys either. That was just,
I love the Black Keys. Yeah,
yeah.
But it's that performance was subpar.
Yeah, to say the least. Yeah. So, mind you, it's understandable when it's cold outside, but yeah, we'll have to see. It's hard to mess up, I feel like, in Florida, whether it's outside or inside. It should be inside though. Who was? Oh, last year was Machine Gun Kelly. That's right.
Yeah, didn't he play outside? Didn't they have him like outside on the strip?
No, he played inside.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't really remember. So I feel like I missed that part of, like, I think that's when I took my poop break. So
I think you're saying that jokingly, but I think that actually is like you legit had a poop break. I think you texted me about that.
Yeah, no, yeah, like I said it with my joking tone, but I wasn't joking.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the All-Star game. I think it'll be fun, and I'm definitely not going to poop during the second intermission this year. I'll do it during the first.
There you go. Do you want a quick rundown of the rosters because they have changed a little bit since we talked about them?
Yeah, sure. Just blast them off.
Yeah, and then we'll move on to a Gulls update. I think that's all we got left. Yeah. And Fall Out Boy. All right, we'll start with the Atlantic Division. You got Alexander Barkov from the Florida Panthers, who is now replacing Austin Matthews of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
I realized he
sucks. No, he's out for 3 weeks, and my fantasy team went shit. And then I realized, oh wait, it's actually only 2 weeks because of the All-Star break. Nikita Kucherov from the Tampa Bay Lightning, Dylan Larkin of the Detroit Red Wings, Mitch Marner of the Toronto Maple Leafs, David Pastrnak of the Boston Bruins, Nick Suzuki of the Montreal Canadiens, Tage Thompson, Buffalo Sabres, Brady Tkachuk, Ottawa Senators, Matthew Tkachuk of the Florida Panthers, Linus Ullmark of the Boston Bruins, and Andrei Vasilevsky of the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Metro has Sidney Crosby of the Pittsburgh Penguins, Johnny Gaudreau of the Columbus Blue Jackets, Kevin Hayes of the Philadelphia Flyers, Jack Hughes, New Jersey Devils, Brock Nelson, New York Islanders, Alex Ovechkin of the Washington Capitals, Artemi Panarin of the Rangers, Andrei Svechnikov from the Carolina Hurricanes, Adam Fox from the New York Rangers, Igor Shesterkin from the New York Rangers, and Ilya Sorokin from the New York Islanders. And I'm taking a look at it.
I thought Barzal was
there. Nope, no Barzal.
Huh.
And sorry to go back as well, because they do have these listed. Jim Montgomery of the Boston Bruins is the coach of the Atlantic. Rod Brindamore of the Carolina Hurricanes for the Metro. I'm looking at the
Atlantic have any defensemen? I don't think they did.
No defenseman, and
Yeah, and Fox
one.
is the only for the Metro.
Yeah, one. Yeah, one for the Metro.
He might be the only defenseman going to the All-Star game in general, because I don't think.
Uh,
I guess we'll go through and we'll see if there's any more defensemen. But
yeah, the Central has more than I think the other 3 divisions combined.
probably.
Yeah. From the Central Division, you got Kirill Kaprizov from the Minnesota Wild, Clayton Keller from the Coyotes, Nathan McKinnon from the Avalanche, Mikko Rantanen from the Avalanche, Jason Robertson from the Stars, Vladimir Tarasenko from the St. Louis Blues, Seth Jones from the Blackhawks, Cale Makar from the Avalanche, Josh Morrissey from the Jets, Connor Hellebuck from the Jets, and UC Saros from the Predators. So, yeah, the Central has Jones, Makar, and Morrissey. They do actually have at least enough defensemen for 3 lines.
Yeah.
And then
Morrissey was going, but that makes
sense. And then for the Central Division coach is Pierre DeBoer of the Dallas Stars. And then the Pacific Division has Bruce Cassidy of the Vegas Golden Knights as the head coach. Chandler Stevenson of the Vegas Golden Knights is going in replacement of Matty Beniers of the Seattle Kraken. Leon Draisaitl of the Oilers, Kevin Fiala of the Kings, Bo Horvat of the Canucks, Nazem Kadri of the Calgary Flames.
Bo Horvat of the Islanders.
Oh yeah, right. Sorry, it still has Vancouver Canucks listed here actually.
Okay. Yeah. The Van York Islanders.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, what he's doing. Vancouver Islanders. There you go. Vancouver's on Vancouver Island. There you go.
There's Vancouver Island.
Yeah. McDavid of the Oilers, Pedersen of the Canucks, Troy Terry of your Anaheim Ducks, Eric Carlson of the Sharks, Stuart Skinner.
Carlson, by the
way. I know. Skinner of the Oilers and Logan Thompson of the Vegas Golden Knights.
Yeah. And just for people that are curious, they pick the coaches based on whatever team's at first in the division at a certain point. I think whenever they name the like the initial rosters is kind of when they name the coaches too. So
my favorite part about the coaches is that 3 of them are supplanted, like brand new coaches to their squads.
Yeah.
Jim Montgomery in Boston, Bruce Cassidy, who was the coach of Boston last year, is in Vegas, and Peter DeBoer in Dallas was the coach of Vegas last year.
Oh yeah.
The only guy that's been there for a while is Rod Brindamore with the Carolina Hurricanes.
Yeah. That's good. What was I going to say? Oh yes. One thing I do like about the All-Star game this year, and it was just a very subtle tweak, or not even like the game, but like the rosters, is in previous years, they've really, really tried to have like 2 goalies, 6 forwards, 3 defensemen.
Yeah.
And if there was like a late injury to like a defenseman, they'd just be like, whatever, we'll just like throw a forward on it. Like then they kind of didn't care.
This year they're just like, screw it.
This year they're just like, fuck it. Like, it doesn't even matter. Like, we'll just name the best players from each team, and then we'll let the fans vote for whatever. Oh God, I hit my desk and shook everything.
There are 5 defensemen going this year, and 3 of them are from the Central Division.
Yeah, I forgot Carlson was going from the Pacific, so which he's very deserving of that. And say what you will about the San Jose Sharks, but Eric Carlson's a damn good player, and he's having a phenomenal season. So, but I was really surprised and somewhat upset that Dahlin didn't get sent, because I think he really deserved it this year.
Yeah, I agree.
But I mean, it's hard to take out any of the names that you said in the Atlantic. Like they have I would be very shocked if
Nick
they
Suzuki
didn't win.
He's doing good. Don't get me wrong, but Nick Suzuki.
But it goes back to the one player from every team.
So get rid of it.
Yeah, I know, because like that. Essentially, Nick Suzuki is taking Dahlin's spot. If that rule wasn't in place, Dahlin would absolutely be there. But they have to give a Montreal Canadian. So
last thing here as well. I know we talked about pretty much everything else except where to watch this. In the States, you can watch this on ABC and ESPN. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, ESPN has the skills competition. ABC will have the All-Star game. But both events will be streamed on ESPN Plus. If you're listening in Canada, both the All-Star game and skills competition will be on Sportsnet. And the All-Star game will also be streamed on Sportsnet now. And CBC will also be carrying both events.
Okay.
After a break from last year with doing the Olympics. So,
what if you're in Britain?
Just illegally stream it. I don't know.
Russia. Well, not Russia. But
yeah, same thing.
South
probably.
Africa.
Same
Brazil.
thing. Same thing. Even if you're in Canada and the States, just find the other ways.
Then the NHL is like, oh, no one watched the All-Star game. Now we're going to change it. And then
that's something I don't mean to add to the show, but that was something else that was going around this year or like this week. Do you see anything about that?
All-Star game?
No, like just watching in general.
Like just stop watching the NHL?
Like viewership, yeah, it's dropped dramatically.
Well, it's because everybody's streaming it illegally and they don't track those stats. that's literally why.
Yeah, here from Mark J. Burns, NHL US TV national viewership is down 22% this season. NHL regular games to date have averaged 373,000 viewers on ESPN TNT, which is this is the second of the league's 7-year pact with Disney and Turner. The NHL averaged 478,000 viewers at this point last season.
Yeah, that's a significant difference. I don't know. I think it's because people aren't buying all of the streaming packages and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
it's just like so insanely overpriced that like less people are buying it, so then it just makes it harder for them to track.
Overpriced, and you can't even and you can't even get all of the games. A lot of them are blacked out, and
exactly. Like you could spend like $100 a month on a streaming. Well, actually, no, it's not that much. It's a lot of money, anyways. You could spend a lot of money and still not even be able to watch all of the games that you want to.
Yeah, it's
dumb. It's so dumb.
Yeah, and just there's a lot of reasons as to why, but yeah, that was another topic that was going around this week as well. Was that viewership was down, and the NHL's kind of going, wonder why, and everyone's just like, we can tell you why.
Yeah,
it's in part just a small fraction, but the digital ads that you're putting that you surveyed fans and they love it. Are you sure, Gary? Are you sure, Gary? Come on.
Fuck, it's got to be my bedtime because my brain is moving so slowly. Jesus. I don't know. The train's left the station. I have no idea what I was going to say anymore. Let's just move on to the Gulls update, and if it comes back to me, I will be sure to let you know.
All right, fair enough.
Nate, take it away here. How have the Gulls done over the last week?
Ducks Junior. They've done okay. January 25th, so last Wednesday's episode, they were playing the Bakersfield Condors, where they won 5-3. A couple days later, they lost to those same Condors 3-4, and then lost on the weekend to the Ontario Reign 7-2. They are currently playing the Abbotsford Canucks, and that game is in progress. I'm not sure what the score is off right now, so
I can tell you.
All right, Carter will tell us. In the meantime, up next, the Gulls are playing the Coachella Valley Firebirds on Friday and Saturday before the AHL All-Star break, which, if I remember correctly, those games are the 5th and 6th skills competition in game, if I remember, in Laval, Quebec. So those are the two games until... Yeah, only the two games until next Wednesday when we give you your next Gulls update. The Gulls, no surprise, 10th in the Pacific Division with a 12-31-0 record. Still making sure that they don't get an overtime point. No loser points. The Gulls are doing it right. Your top 5 players in terms of points. Braden Tracy is in 5th spot with 20 points. Michael Del Zotto is in 4th, with 23, 13 with the San Diego Gulls since being traded in 15 games. So he's doing pretty dang good.
Good for
Bo Grew has 28 points. Nicholas Brouillard has 30, and then Rocco Grimaldi has the lead strongly in hand, 41 points in 42 games.
I'm just curious because it feels like those players haven't changed like all season. So I'm just looking up here who is in sixth just to like see how far back.
Yeah, they are playing
gone.
games because like the games are updating.
Oh yeah. No, I know. I'm just like curious, like if it's we only have like the 5 players that are just like god tier, and then after that is just like
we have Rocco Grimaldi.
So
we have Rocco Grimaldi.
Well, yeah, that's Daniel Reagan. Oh yeah, I guess he's not on the roster anymore though. Is at 18, and then Glenn Godden at 17. So like I guess he's not, and Regenda at 17 as well. So I guess they're not too far behind Braden Tracy, but they're definitely not like catching up to him. So
yeah.
I think for the rest of the season, it'll just be like those 5 players, but we'll just kind of be updating the totals now, I think. So.
Oh, okay. We might have one change to Rasmus Dahlin may actually go to the All-Star game from an hour ago, almost 2 hours now at this point. During that Sabres Hurricanes game, Tage Thompson will not be returning to tonight's game, upper body injury.
Oof.
So
rough.
It might be precautionary, but we will see. Yeah. That's your goals update. I don't know.
Yeah, I did look up the score in the game. It's about 5 minutes to go in the second period, and it is 4-0.
Nice.
Yeah.
4-0 for who?
I'll give you one guess.
Bakersfield, or sorry, Coachella Valley.
Wow. I should have given you 3 because it's the Abbotsford Canucks.
Oh my god! I'm good. I am good.
I could have given you 32 guesses and you still might have gotten it wrong.
I had the outline scrolled down too far and I looked at the next stop and I was like, yeah. Oh yeah, that's the game, right?
Yeah, sure. I'll have a story.
Oh.
Yeah, 5 minutes ago and the Gulls are losing 5-0. So Ducks Junior. Yeah. Okay. That's the Gulls update now. Okay. The moment you, or at least I, have been waiting for this whole time.
For 2 weeks and an hour and 23 minutes, 24 minutes.
Yeah. You have it under what's quacking on the outline. I assume that's just an error. I'm playing this music.
Yes, it was an error. And Homer had some vibrato to his voice there. I don't know if you heard that.
Yeah.
some with how that process. That was kind of funny though. Yeah. Fall Out Boy. They got some new music out.
Music. It's freaking awesome.
Oh, okay. Well, that kind of okay. I'll give you one word. How would you describe the 2 new Fall Out Boy releases that we've had in the last 2 weeks?
Well, because freaking awesome is 2 words, I'll just say frossom.
Frossom?
Yeah.
All right. I like it.
What?
I like it.
You know what? I'll say frosty.
Frosty?
I feel like that's like a good thing. And then they had that song off Mania, Stay Frosty, Royal Milk Tea or something like that.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? Yeah. And that's a banger of a song. So I'm going to say frosty.
It is a banger.
Yeah. How would you sum it up in one word?
Considering you can just hyphenate it, I'm going to continue with fucking awesome.
Nice.
Because I can just hyphenate it. Make it one word.
Or you could just say, "Oh fucking some."
Oh fucking some. I like that too, actually. Yeah. I like it. So yeah, these are the first 2 singles off of their upcoming new album called So Much for Stardust. So Much for Stardust? Did I have that right?
Yep. It's
So Much for Stardust.
So much in brackets for Stardust. So it's like so much Stardust, but also so much for Stardust.
I read that and I was like, did I just write that wrong? So yeah, that album will be released on Friday, March 24th, 2023. So coming up.
Work.
Yeah,
so
that's fair.
That album.
That's fair.
I can listen to it at work. I'll probably just do
that. Yeah. This will be the 8th studio album by the band. And this is actually their first time working with producer Neil Averon since their last time working with him for 2008's Folie à Deux. He was also the
That
producer
makes a ton of
for
sense.
he's also the producer for From Under the Cork Tree in 2005 and Infinity on High in 2007. So getting back with their old producer for their, I guess, second to fourth albums. Yeah, it definitely
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. I
Doing it
always
after.
I hate when people are like, "Yep, I'm getting back together with my ex." Unless when it's bands getting back with their ex producer, then I'm like, "Fucking just give me that shit."
Yeah,
It's so good.
exactly. Yeah. So Patrick Stump had a couple quotes here as well that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, sure.
He had one in a press release here just about the creation of the album that I feel like it's kind of important actually to just show why the band sounds the way they do in these first couple of tracks that we've listened to off the new album.
Mhm.
So he said technology has made it really easy to make records much more quickly these days. There's nothing wrong with that, and that spontaneity can be exciting. But we wanted to get back to the way we used to work. We wanted to make a record that was really lovingly crafted and deliberate and patiently guided, like someone cooked you a delicate meal. I'm not a very proud guy, but I'm pretty proud of this record. Like those are pretty
Yeah.
strong words from Patrick Stump,
Oh, for sure.
I feel like.
I mean, I don't want to like I don't want to sound like I'm shitting on any of like their recent music because I still love it. Like Mania and American Beauty, American Psycho. Like
Mhm.
I love those last two albums. But like
They felt
you can definitely tell that it's just like they had an idea and they just recorded the song and they were like sick. Let's put it out. And because they're talented musicians, it sounds really
yeah.
good and they're good songs. But especially in contrast to like just the couple songs we've heard already, you can tell that like they probably recorded the song and then they were like, "Okay, it's done. Let's send it to mastering," which for those that don't know is like the final step before you put it on the album, essentially. And then they were like, "No, wait, we've got another idea. Let's change this part." It's like, "Oh no, wait!" And then like there was
Yeah.
very much like a back and forth, and like they were like, "Okay, let's add this touch. This wasn't good enough. Let's add this again." Whereas a lot of their other stuff was more like, "Okay, we have these good song ideas, and then let's just like do some filler tracks." That's how it
Yeah.
kind of felt. So to
My
me,
thing was in like the instrumentation or lack thereof in a way was like the guitars in that felt like they were secondary.
in previous
Um
like
yeah, and like in like the last couple of albums.
yeah,
Um yeah, like the like guitars and bass, drums were replaced with other drum sounds, right? Like not your traditional kit, I guess.
yeah,
Which that isn't always a bad thing, right? And like you could
no,
definitely see like there's like a progression for the band of it,
yeah,
but then just to have like this s- not not a step back in a bad way, right? But just okay, we're gonna kind of cut a lot of that back, I guess, and let the instruments that we play shine through a bit more. So because like
mhm,
especially off of the last album Mania, when you're watching like the live performances of those, like that's obviously when their instruments really shine through because it's not being mixed or that like getting ready for like pop radio, I guess.
yeah,
Um, which I feel like I'm kind of torn between like I feel like they would have just done this anyway, but also the fact that pop punk is making a bit of a resurgence over the last couple of years
mhm.
maybe allowed this to be a bit easier to be done, I guess, by the
Yeah,
band.
they could like be mainstream relevant without like having to just sell out and be like, let's just use a bunch of synthesizers and like drum machines and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Um so Fall Out Boy actually did compare this album to the spirit of Fully Ado, which I know is
Mhm.
your favorite album of these ones, or Infinity on High. It's one of those two.
It depends on the day. Like,
Yeah.
I would put those as my top two albums in some respect from them. So, and I think I even texted that to you when I heard the second one. I was like, this album gives me, or I think I put it on Twitter, maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
But like literally the day the song came out, I was like, this gives me huge Fully Ado vibes, like
Yeah.
right off the bat. And now that you're saying this, I'm like, of course, of course it does.
Yeah. Now it all makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So Stump said, I wouldn't say this is from an article from NME. I wouldn't say that the whole of So Much for Stardust is this fast hard rock record, but throughout there's this feeling of just us together, which I was really happy to hear again. Um, the lead single may have that classic Fall Out Boy energy, but according to Stump, it's not a throwback record. He
Mhm.
said, I didn't want to go back to a specific style, but I wanted to imagine what it would have sounded like if we had made a record right after Fully Ado instead of taking a break for a few years. It was kind of like exploring the multiverse. It was an experiment in seeing what we would have done. And that paragraph alone, like if without listening to it, like to anything, that paragraph alone would have gotten me excited.
Oh yeah.
So personally,
I mean, we would have been in high school, right, when they were on their break, like on their hiatus. Or
yeah,
no,
because
because Save Rock and Roll
Save Rock
came
and Roll
out.
came out in 2013.
So as we were entering, so we would have been in middle school during the hiatus.
Yeah.
For them, yeah, yeah. So just from the two songs I've heard already, um, middle school Carter probably would have fucking loved those songs. And I mean,
Yeah.
I still do love those songs, but like, it sounds like the type of thing that I would have listened to back then.
Yeah, that's fair. What else did I have here? Oh yeah, this album is also their first being back on the label Fueled by Ramen, who had released their first album, Take This to Your Grave, back in 2003.
No,
So
20 years.
yeah. And there's going to be we've only had 2 of the 13 songs so far. So
yeah,
I'm excited for more.
Out of those 2, I always forget what the first one's called. Can you remind me what the first one's called?
Love from the Other Side, and then excuse me.
Guys, Heartbreak Feels So Good is the
is the second one. Also known as track 2, if you had listened to it early enough in the day on the day that it came out. Yeah, I pulled it up on my Spotify and it just said track 2. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, Fall Out Boy, just going off the conventional thing of like longer titles or whatever, just track 2. All right, I like it. And then like later that day, it was like, Heartbreak Feels So Good. What the fuck happened to track 2? Played it. Oh, okay.
Yeah, they put, I don't know if you're like subscribed to their newsletter, but they put out an email like I think it was like a couple days after the song dropped, for like you could pre-order like shirts and like a CD
I did see that
of it, and on the shirt it has the track listing, but they left it as track 2 on there. And then they had like tracks 3 to 13 like blurred out, but the other one was just track 2. I thought that was so
fantastic. I don't have the newsletter, but I saw it just on other social media that they were doing that. But yeah, that's fantastic though.
So out of those 2, Love from the Other Side and Heartbreak Feels So Good, do you have a favorite already? Or actually, I should even ask, do you like these ones, or are you just like,
I fucking love them.
Okay.
No, I fucking love them. Love from the Other Side, I feel like has to be the one that I go towards. Just for the, I think of Fall Out Boy, and I kind of like, I think of like anthemic songs. Like these are the songs that you play to a arena or a stadium that everybody is singing back, and not in like a corny way, right? Like there's songs that just present really well, I guess. And Love from the Other Side, I definitely think is one of them. I did like take some notes just like listening to the song a few times, and that the first note I have is this in all caps, and then without hearing any others, is the perfect lead single for the first Fall Out Boy song since 2018, 2019.
It definitely sets the tone as like, we're throwing it back to the good old days, because as soon as I heard it, where like the verse is like just straight, quarter note kick drums, and then like and just hi-hat, obviously I pay attention to the drums more so, and then the chorus hits and everything comes together, and it's like kind of scream singing vocals, like in a way, like the Patrick Stump style, where everything just like blends together and you can tell he's singing at like max volume, and like the chords are just like fast drumming, and it has like that anthematic style. Like it sounds not like exactly, but as soon as I heard it, I was like, this is basically like Sugar We're Going Down / Thanks for the Memories Part 3.
Yeah,
like those 3 songs are kind of all the same to me, but like I love them all for their own thing and like in their own way, but they all have like a sound where it's like this is Fall Out Boy.
Yeah, exactly. And the big thing for that, I feel like, is like the opening of the song that's not the radio edit. That has like the opening on like the piano keys, which are performed by Joe Troman as well.
Okay.
And the strings kind of coming in. I wrote here like it gives kind of a grandiose introduction before I have here laying into fat drums and punchy guitars before reintroducing the strings to give us that stadium Fall Out Boy, is what I
Yeah.
have written here.
hmm
So
Yeah,
and
just like
yeah,
Infinity on High, like the strings were like a huge. I don't want to say like groundbreaking thing. Maybe at the time it was groundbreaking, but it was definitely like this is what we're doing for this album. We're doing a
they
rock
played
band,
hard
and then
into
we're
it.
adding
Yeah,
strings, and it fucking slaps. Like they killed it with that. So
yeah, exactly. I have here word for word. Fuck, I love Patrick's soul voice.
oh yeah,
And then I
so good.
have especially the stump delivery. Um, the last line of the chorus for the last 2 weeks, because of we make not make fun of Patrick Stump's how he kind of blends words in a way
Yeah,
or doesn't enunciate them.
yeah,
Um, I had it dagger in their hip for the last 2 weeks as the last
okay,
line of the chorus. It's dagger in their hand, but just the way that he sings it.
yeah. I
Because I was
mean,
like, okay, dagger in the hip. Yeah, that makes sense. Like it's
yeah.
like dagger on the hip, right? Like ready to backstab you or something like that. But
Oh yeah,
which I mean, like it's the context still works. Dagger in the hand, right?
yeah.
Um, but I was just kind of laughing at that when I was looking at the lyrics tonight, and I was
Okay.
like, oh, I've had it wrong for the last 2 weeks. At least it's only been 2 weeks.
Yeah. I think life is better when you don't like this is just for me personally. You can live your life however you want to. But I think for me, life is better when I don't know what Patrick Stump is singing because it's just like way more fun to try and figure it out. And then like 6 years later, you just happen to be listening on like a different speaker or like,
Yeah,
you
and
know,
you're
you
like,
have
oh,
your
that's what he's
headphones just a
saying.
little louder, whatever, louder, or like, and then you're like, oh my God, I just figured out what he was saying. I got to tell everybody I know.
Yeah, exactly. We got Justin in the chat. What's good, boys? What's going on, Justin?
Hey,
You're just in
Justin.
time for some Fall Out Boy talk. We're talking new singles that came out the last couple of weeks. Yeah, the best one for the Patrick Stump delivery, I think, is "This Ain't a Scene." It's an arms race
Oh, yeah.
from that's Faliadu, right?
No,
I'm getting
Infinity on High.
Infinity on High, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, and like you even kind of bugged me with it, like when we were doing the band thing, and I was in the vocal booth, like recording vocals. Um, you're like you're stumping it,
Mhm.
right? Because I'm just like not enunciating it, but yeah, like the ga there are right,
Yeah. He
right? Just
he manages to like take that whole sentence and kind of just make it one word.
he sounds like he's recording it with a ball gag in his mouth sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he was. I don't know. Maybe that's his. Maybe that's
The
his
band's
thing.
just
That's what
getting
he's
kinky
into.
while recording.
You never know. You never know.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you
What
have any
happens in the
other?
studio stays in the studio.
Yeah.
So.
Do you have any other notes? I have some others, but I don't
Um,
want to take away
would
from you either.
uh, well, just while I'm thinking of it, one thing you said like you love his soul voice. If anyone
Yeah.
out there hasn't listened to Patrick Stump's solo album, do yourself a favor and
Oh,
go have
yeah.
a listen to that. It slaps. It's so good.
Yeah.
I think he released it when they were on the hiatus, right? It came out then.
Yeah.
No, it's very good. I can't remember what it's called, but it's easy to find. It's very very good.
I was trying
Yeah.
I was trying not to be like, oh, okay, like it's funny, but also because it was right around the same time that Fall Out Boy put out this new song was when Brendan Urie announced that Panic at the Disco was breaking up. Which also I saw a great meme of that. It was like Brendan Urie telling Panic that they're breaking up, and it's just a guy pointing at himself in the mirror.
Yeah.
But it was like Patrick's voice is what Brendan Urie thinks his voice is. Kind of thing. And I was laughing, but I'm like, okay, we also don't have to bash Brendan Urie about this, do we?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Do you want me to stay on this song or like can I kind of talk about the two songs? Like,
Yeah, you can talk about the two songs. I
sure.
kind of have like individual notes, but yeah,
Okay,
go for it.
Yeah, no, I don't really have individual notes. and I'm just kind of going off top of my head. I didn't
That's
prepare
fair.
at all, but
I had to put my notes down or I was gonna like miss something. I knew it.
that's fair. I mean I've basically listened to these songs every day since they come out. Like
Yeah.
it's like my drive, like to and from work stuff. Like I usually throw on like a hockey podcast, but lately it's been okay. Let's get some Fall Out Boy in there, and then I'll do like hockey podcast, and then
Mhm.
or however I'm feeling. But so yeah, my favorite of the two is Heartbreak Feels So Good. It's literally just the opening bass line that just fucking gets me. It's like not even a bass line. I guess it's more
synth.
of a synth,
Yeah, synth.
synth bass, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just love a good bass line or like bass melody, bass. What's the word? It's not
Yeah,
rhythm. But
yeah,
like,
baseline.
yeah,
Yeah.
I guess just bass line. Hopefully people know what I mean.
Yeah.
And yeah, that one slaps. It's so good. That's really all
It's
I
good
have to
stuff.
say about that song in particular. Just like, and it's I guess it's not even just like the line itself. It's also just like the tone of the synth.
Yeah.
It's like because what I personally like about my bass is like the punchiness of it. Like I don't care about like necessarily the resonance of the bass. Like I essentially want my bass guitar to sound like a bunch of pitched kick drums, which is kind of
That makes sense now.
yeah, but this one like this bass line has almost like no punch to it. It's very, very much just all resonance in a way.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like
There's not a hard attack on it. It's just
yeah,
it's there. Yeah.
mhm.
I get what you mean.
Yeah, which it's probably because it's a synth and you're not like actually picking a bass, but or finger picking or whatever your
Yeah.
preferred style is. So yeah, it's not typically what I like, but I think it really suits the line itself and the song where it's just kind of continuous and like there's almost something hollow about it. Like it's not like I've even listened on my monitor setup, which to everybody watching, you can't see what I'm pointing at. Also, hello, Way, saying hello. Hope y'all had a good day.
What's going on, Way?
But yeah, like I've got big monitors and a sub for mixing anything, podcast music, or even just listening to music. Whatever.
Yeah. I cranked these couple of songs like a few times on my speakers today, like getting notes, so just getting ready for tonight.
Yeah, and like they're mixed well, and like they're modern songs, so they do have like that low end punch to them. But I haven't been able to find a set of speakers like the car or like a Bose speaker or Raycons by raycon.com/thpn or even these big monitors with my subs. Like when I crank it up, that synth bass line doesn't give me the bass that I really want, and I was kind of disappointed at first. But now I've kind of grown to love it, and it really fits the song. I think just how it's like kind of hollow, and it's like because the song starts, it's like listen to this sick bass line, and then I'm like I want to feel the bass line, not just listen to it. And then the rest of the song comes in, and the rest of the instruments, and it really just fits with like the whole song. How it's like not front and center, but it's there, so it's very cool.
Yeah, exactly. We got Ronnie popping in here, or sorry, pooping in and saying hi with a quack, quack, quack. What's going on, Ronnie?
Hey.
Yeah, I had that too, just like the synth keys, and I wrote process guitar here just because there's like a lot of effects that are going on with it.
Yeah.
But I have there. It's very dancey verses before slamming into jumping choruses.
Yeah,
and like jumping choruses, I mean like you're jumping at a show kind of thing
you
with
get
it.
a mosh pit going kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What else? Yeah, I guess we're in Heartbreak Feels So Good. That works.
Yeah, I mean, if you had other things you wanted to say too,
we can go back after because there's a way we can deviate back to it. That's not taking away from this right now. What else did I have here? I had a guitar / vocal lead lines. When you think like after the chorus, right? Like the da na 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 na, right? Like that part, because then like Patrick also sings that with the guitar.
Yeah.
So I have like those. That's Chef's Kiss. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
so good, so good.
This song, I kind of the overall note that I had, I said it feels like a nice mix of like the roots kind of old school sound that we know, but with the post hiatus songwriting and composition
Yeah.
style.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
No, for sure. Yeah.
which I guess does kind of line up in a way with what they were talking about, right? Like it's, you know, it's imagine if they had wrote a sequel to Folia Do instead of taking a hiatus and then doing Save Rock and Roll, right?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
guess
Exactly.
that does kind of fall in line with that actually. So
Yeah. One thing also I think that's going to happen with this album that I'll kind of relate to Folia Do is that I think well, I think the reason I like that album is because there's not really a song that stands out as like, okay, this is like the single, and this one was obviously made for the radio to like sell the album.
yeah,
Like they have I Don't Care on that one, which I guess is probably the closest thing to that, but it's not like I don't even think they play that one live anymore. Like it's just kind of a basic song. Like
mm-hmm.
I guess like it's almost like they wrote it to sell the album, or because like the label wanted them to write something that would sell the album, but they were like, "Fuck it, we don't care. Just here's what you want, even though this isn't what we want to do."
Mm-hmm.
But then all of the other ones are just like, we're just gonna do whatever we want and write good music, and this is it. We don't care if it's like gonna get. I guess they didn't really have it at the time, but like 10 million plays on Spotify. Like this album doesn't seem like that kind of vibe. Like it's not like, okay, we're pushing this one as the lead single of the album, and literally everybody and their mom and their grandma and their dog are going to listen to it and they're going to love it. It's just like, we're just going to make good music, and the people that like this kind of music are going to like it, and if you don't, you don't, and we don't care. And I
Yeah,
think that that's
exactly.
kind of going to be the whole vibe of the album, is we're just going to write 13 really good songs, and none of them are going to be bangers, but people like me and you and anyone else who's like a fan of Fall Out Boy is going to love it, but they're not going to play it on the radio or like at clubs, because that's not who it's for, and they're not
Yeah,
trying to sell it to those people, which
I
I
do
enjoy.
kind of wonder if it's gonna make its way onto radio, like pop radio at least. It'll definitely be on like alternative or that kind of thing, but um
Yeah.
yeah, I did want to take a look because they played Fall Out Boy played the Metro in Chicago on January 25th, um, which was the day that Heartbreak Feels So Good came out as well.
Yeah.
They also debuted that song, like public debut, the 14th song out of 19 they played that night. So they waited a while to play that one even,
Yeah.
but they started the show, which I hadn't looked at the set list and I had this in my notes. For Love from the Other Side, I had the note, imagine seeing them live and they opened with this. Cause that's what I was thinking. I was like, this is like a great opening song in an arena or
Oh,
something like that,
especially
right? Or just
especially with
for
that piano, like,
yeah, like it's a great
awesome.
album opener, but I'm like for a live song, like that's a perfect one. And sure enough, that's what they opened that show with actually. So,
Yeah.
and then followed it by The Phoenix, which is another great uh arena song, I feel like.
Oh, for sure.
And then Sugar We're Going Down. Like
Just
that's your first three songs that you're opening with.
could you imagine?
That's awesome.
Jeez.
That's awesome.
I would love. I can't wait until the day I get to see Fall Out Boy, because that's gonna be
Someday.
great.
Someday we'll do it.
Yeah. Which,
What
speaking of which,
else?
they have announced tour
Oh yeah.
dates, but we'll get to that kind of when we're done. So if you have
Yeah.
more notes, Nate, feel free to.
Yeah, I got a
go
little
for it.
bit more. But before that, Ronnie's just saying, speaking of sounds, Carter, you're a little lower volume than me. So okay, so maybe it isn't just me. So if you
Yeah.
want to try turning yourself up a bit,
Oh,
or just I don't know.
I'll figure it out for next time. It's all good.
Yeah,
So.
Ronnie, if you haven't been watching us the whole time, Carter will tweak it or that for the audio recording or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else did I have here? That was all the notes I had for Heartbreak Feels So Good. To go back to Love from the Other Side for a quick second, the last one I had, or the last two I had, the halftime drums on the ending to let the strings shine through. Love it. And I said, chucking guitars with melodic leads on top is peak Fall Out Boy.
Oh yeah.
So,
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
the only other notes that I had were the music videos.
Okay. I haven't
So,
watched those. So,
um, okay, yeah, I just had the kind of like sparing ones. So for Love from the Other Side, I said the music video reminds me of the Never-Ending Story. If you watched that movie,
no,
um,
can't say I did.
and or oh, maybe I'm not thinking of the Never-Ending Story. Was the never what? Oh my god, it was the Never-Ending Story. Was the one with David Bowie in it, right?
Maybe. I don't know. You're asking the wrong guy.
Uh, oh no, it wasn't. But no, but the Never Ending Story does still actually work with the idea that I'm thinking of. Um, oh my god. Okay, now this is bothering me. What's the David Labyrinth? That was the movie. Okay.
Okay.
I guess 1986, 1984. Yeah. Okay. Two-year difference. Okay, I'm not too far off in my
Okay.
my thinking here. Um, yeah, Pete's rocking old person makeup as well because like you said you haven't seen the music videos, right?
No.
So the premise of that video is yeah, Pete Wentz is older and he has like his grandkid in bed and she asks him to tell a story or that story about that band.
Okay.
And the whole thing is like the the mayor of the city didn't like the band or something like that. And
Mm.
it follows them like getting into a battle with them and they get like cast off to sea basically. They end up on Emo Island, which I want to go there, please. I want that to be a vacation destination. Thank you. Where they're empowered to be the band that takes over the city and gets rid of the evil mayor.
Mm.
Um the big city is what it's called. And then Heartbreak Feels So Good. That music video starts the thing of like they're gonna do a prank to a bunch of people that Rivers Cuomo from Weezer is in on, and he's in the music video as well. That they're going to fake kidnap Rivers, and just like make a whole thing of it.
Yeah.
And when they go to kidnap him in front of a bunch of fans, Rivers decides, no, I actually don't want to do this. Pulls the mask down on Patrick, I think it is, and goes, "Hey, Fall Out Boy's trying to kidnap me." And the entire thing then is like all these other fans are chasing after Fall Out Boy, but they have a show to get to that night as well. So they're like trying to get to the venue while like running away from other fans, basically. And it's just like they have body cams on them like for the prank, so it's like showing
Mm.
like their escape like through the body cams and whatnot as well. And
This sounds like a 15-year-old girl's fever dream,
it's pretty
honestly.
funny though. It is pretty funny. Um, and I guess as we had broke 2 weeks ago as well, Joe Troman is taking just a break from the band just for mental health reasons,
Mhm.
which we hope we wish Joe the best, obviously, and
Yeah.
um, take hopes he yeah, hopes that he takes his time. But we're excited to see him back in the lineup.
Mhm.
So he's not in both of these music videos. Actually, sorry, I shouldn't say that. He's not initially in both of these music videos. The never or the never ending story music video, the Love from the Other Side video. It starts with Grandpa Pete saying like, "Oh yeah, they turned Joe into a giant raccoon,"
Mhm.
and so then there's this guy in this raccoon costume in uh, Joe's spot the entire time with his
Oh yeah.
guitar. And he just like the raccoon just shows up every now and then.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it primarily follows Patrick, Pete, and Andy, the drummer. And then in Heartbreak Feels So Good, they address it right off the top as well because it's like the three guys are in a van before going to kidnap Rivers Cuomo,
Yeah.
and I think Andy is the one who asks like, "Where's Joe?" And I think Pete just goes like, Joe's doing Joe stuff. I don't know. You know Joe. So, but there is a little Joe surprise at the end of it. So I'll tease you with that, Carter.
Okay.
But
Cool. Sounds good.
yeah. So I mean the music videos are peak Fall Out Boy. The music is peak Fall Out Boy.
Yeah.
It's just all fantastic. So I've been loving it so far.
Yeah, it's been good. And if you're out there listening and you have also been enjoying this so far, Fall Out Boy has released a series of tour dates from June 21st to August 6th, primarily in the States. And they start in Chicago, hit various other places, Texas, Dallas. They got 3 California dates starting July 1st, which will be Chula Vista, and then Los Angeles and Mountain View, California. Yeah, various other states and cities around everywhere. Atlanta. Eventually, they make it to Toronto. So if you're listening from Eastern Canada, July 30th. And then a couple dates in New York, Boston, Massachusetts, and a couple dates in New Jersey as well.
Yeah.
And then more to be announced soon. So they had said somewhere like more international dates. So I would assume they'd add a few more American dates in there somewhere, probably, hopefully more Canadian ones. Man, if they come literally anywhere, like from Saskatchewan west, not that they'd go to Saskatchewan, but like literally anywhere, like BC or Alberta, I am going to try my hardest to go, depending
That's
on
fair.
when it is and how much money I can save up.
Yeah.
I would
if they came to Alberta, like Edmonton or Calgary would be the spots, obviously, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I would definitely go for sure.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
I would figure out some way to put money together. So
yeah, and then they'll probably have like European dates as well, because I know we have a few European listeners, so probably Germany,
the UK,
probably various like France,
Italy,
Spain,
maybe.
Portugal,
Yeah,
maybe Italy, Greece, probably South America. A lot of bands like to go down there. They have good followings there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would imagine that those dates will be announced at some point under the international banner. But at least for these dates that they have, looks like primarily they are going to be touring with Bring Me the Horizon. Most of the dates involve them, which Fall Out Boy and Bring Me the Horizon, hell yeah.
The tour just makes me. Fall Out Boy not coming to Western Canada made me jealous. Fall Out Boy with Bring Me the Horizon made me even more jealous. Fall Out Boy with Bring Me the Horizon and Alkaline Trio just got me angry at this point.
Yeah. So some of the other bands that are on just some of the dates, Royal and the Serpent, although they might actually be on all of the dates, but I've never heard of them, so I don't know for sure. And then, as Nate said, Alkaline Trio, Newfound Glory, who I think they enjoy as well.
Yep.
4 Years Strong, The Academy Is, Games We Play, Daisy Grenade, and Car with 2 R's.
Can you tell I'm hurting?
Yes, I can. As soon as I saw the tour dates, I was like, oh man, I hope they're coming to Canada. And then I saw Bring Me the Horizon. I was like, I swear to fuck if they don't come to Canada. And then I saw Alkaline Trio, Newfound Glory, The Academy Is. I've heard you talk about all those, and I was like, okay, they're definitely not coming to Western Canada, because Nate would have already texted me he had tickets.
Yep.
So I scrolled through anyways, only hitting Toronto so far in Canada. But yeah, if anyone, all of our states listeners, if they're hitting dates near you, then congratulations. You've won the lottery of places to live.
I don't know if they've gotten tickets yet, but I'm sure Richie and Corey are probably going to be going to this show.
Yeah.
From the Sporty with Corey and Richie show.
I guess we should say this. Thursday at 10 a.m. local time for pre-sale. General sale Friday at 10 a.m. local time. So that's your chance to get tickets if you really want. And you're, lucky enough to be nearby a place. Or lucky enough to have a lot of money to go wherever you want to see Fall Out Boy.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. I was like, damn, okay, this year is actually going to be really good for my playlists with new releases, because the last couple of weeks have been the new Fall Out Boy and All Time Low songs, and they announced their new album as well. And what else? New Paramore is coming out this year. We've already had a couple tracks from that new album. New Blink-182, which we're going to that show when they come to Calgary. That one I am psyched for, because that'll be three bands out of my top 5 if I had to name like a top 5 bands that I'll have seen at that point.
Yeah, 5 months from now, it's coming up.
I'm excited. But yeah, Fall Out Boy is like that band that like teeters on the top 5 for me for sure. So yeah, like to see them would be awesome as well. So
Yeah, for sure.
but
Well, we're just past the 2 hour mark, so I think unless you have any last parting thoughts, now could be a good time to wrap things up, Nate.
I went down the rabbit hole because Fall Out Boy made 2 appearances on Jimmy Kimmel in the last 2 weeks playing these news tracks. And I noticed, you know me, I'm a big guitar nut as well, right?
Yep.
That's just for those who are wondering as well. The guitars that are sitting behind me is about half the collection. I have more over here.
Mhm.
But I was noticing, I'm just like, okay, he's not playing his Gretsch Stump-O-Matic, like his signature guitar that he's had for years. I'm like, he's playing something different. That's kind of an interesting guitar. And so I took a look, and it took me a little bit of digging to figure out what it was actually. He's playing a Guild S60D in those, which
for the layman the layman who's listening is obviously
yeah, is just a guitar from I think it was from 1976 to 1984 they were made.
oh
So Guild primarily is known for their acoustic guitars, which my stepdad has one, and I love that guitar. So yeah, like this was the first time I even saw like a Guild electric. Actually, like I just didn't. They aren't normally out there kind of thing, or out there a whole lot. And even then, like on Reverb, there was only 2 available.
oh wow.
So like they're kind of a rare guitar, and even then, like the most expensive, or the cheapest one, it was about 1,700 American. So, but yeah, so I did some digging as well and figured that out. So because that's also the stuff that I noticed. I'm like, guys are using different gear, especially than what they usually do. So like even Pete Wentz wasn't using his signature Squire Fender P bass. He was rocking a Music Man Ray, the Ray 36 or 35, if I remember correctly. So, and then I did double check as well, because I knew if I brought up instruments at some point, you're going to be like, what the hell was Andy using? Sabian cymbals and a DW kit. I don't know the specifics on everything, but I was able to dig that at least. So
nice. Good calls all around. I'm a Sabian boy myself. So
yeah. So but yeah, for you, Carter, definitely go watch the music videos, and for everybody else. And those performances on Jimmy Kimmel as well were fantastic. The Love from the Other Side performance on Jimmy Kimmel there. Pete's not originally on stage, the bass player, and he's elsewhere rocking like the black fringe hair.
Oh yeah.
And he's walking towards the stage with a legion of black fringe-haired people. So, and then he gets on stage, takes off the wig. He's got his long blonde hair in the ponytail or whatever. But then like all the other people that came out with him are like all standing in front. So I was like, oh yeah, we're going back to 2005 here.
Absolutely. Yeah. Cool stuff. Well, yeah, I guess on the next episode, since this was a little bit of a different one, we will be back to our regularly scheduled Ducks and more hockey-centric talk. I mean, this episode was kind of split. We'll talk All-Star Game, and then we'll preview a couple upcoming games for the Ducks. Nate. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, I was gonna use that. I was kind of putting that there for the lead off a little bit.
Nate, if people want to ask you more questions, like how long have you been playing guitar, where can they do that at?
Well, first I've been playing guitar since grade 8. So what's that? 12 years, 13 years now. Grade 8 was
12 years. Yeah.
13 turning 14, I think. So
yep.
Yeah, 12, 13 years.
Yep.
And yeah, any more questions, guitar or other music related, I'd be happy to talk about it. You can message me or tweet me on Twitter at Tatenamas, TATENHOMAS.
Yeah. Also, I'm sure you can rant to him about how dumb the All-Star Game is too, because I know he's not alone in that. And you know what? I'm a pretty good listener, so Feel free to DM me at Carter_Potts, PRTTS_97, if you just want to feel heard about how much you hate the All-Star game as well. I'm also down to talk Fall Out Boy too. I already said that. At Quack Report Pod is everything else on all of the handles. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. We'll see you later, and go Pacific Division, go.